Hello and welcome to this special episode of the Goldnomics podcast. I'm here with Stephen Flood, CEO of GoldCore, and Mark O'Byrne, Director of Research. And we're here with some very special news today with GoldCore launching something they've been working on for a while. They're already known for their storage service. The GoldCore Secure Storage is probably one of the safest ways to store known gold in the world. But they have a special announcement today where they're actually adding another storage location, a very special storage location, to their list. Steve, tell us, which location are you adding to GoldCore Secure Storage today?
Yeah, well, somewhere very close to home, Dublin, Ireland. We've brought on stream in the last few weeks, and we're announcing it to the market today that when buying precious metals on the GoldCore platform, you can select Dublin alongside London, Zurich, Hong Kong, and Singapore. And so we're really excited about this. It's the first time gold and silver have been available for storage institutionally in the Irish Republic. And made available to private citizens. So it's a fantastic moment.
Mark, tell me this, why now? Why is now the right time for opening a storage location in Dublin?
Well, so it's for a number of reasons. We've been working on it for a long time. We've had a lot of inquiries over the years from both from clients and from the wider investment marketplace, people actually looking to store gold in Dublin. And we basically, we struggled to find something that met the criteria that we wanted to provide to our clients in terms of security and liquidity. So basically what we are offering now is institutional gold vaults. So basically they're professionally managed, they're accredited, so very, very high standards, and that basically protects investors in terms of the purity of the gold, the authenticity of the gold, and the liquidity of the gold. So so a lot of demand over the years, and we weren't in a position to offer this service, and we've been working on it for a long period of months, and it's very exciting. And I think, Stephen, there's been a bit of demand. Just we soft launched it there mid-October, and we've seen a fair bit of demand just in the last few weeks, haven't we, Stephen?
Yeah, it's quite amazing. So far, Zurich is always the most popular place to store gold, given Switzerland's long history of respecting asset ownership. But London was also kind of a very firm second place. Hong Kong and Singapore are very popular as well, but it was always Zurich and then London. And in fact, Dublin has come on so strong, it's surpassed Hong Kong and Singapore. And looking at the numbers, we think it actually might surpass London as well, probably sometime early in 2019. So demand is very, very strong. A lot of our clients are selecting it almost as a default. They're delighted to have it. We've had a huge reception so far from those clients, and so we think it bodes very well for the future for Dublin as a financial centre, and for UK clients looking to divest themselves of having their safe haven assets stored exclusively in London. The idea of then storing it in Zurich was probably too far, but having it in Dublin is quite a happy medium, and so they're delighted with it as well. And we expect an awful lot of more demand coming from UK clients.
Mark,
yeah, there's actually two other reasons besides the demand that was there. It's also just, we've long spoken about the importance of diversification, both in terms of asset classes, but also in terms of geographies and owning gold in different jurisdictions. And we've long said that you should own gold, maybe take delivery of some gold if you feel comfortable in your own home and have the ability to do that, but also stored in one or two other international jurisdictions. So, and it makes sense to have it actually closer to home as well within your own country. Obviously, we've seen this movement around the world about people repatriating gold, central banks repatriating gold back into their own country, and therefore it makes sense from that point of view that people will have gold closer to their home within their country. And then the final reason is because of the big risks in the world that we can speak about briefly now in a second in terms of Brexit and Trump and all the rest. That's actually driving demand whereby people want to own gold closer to them and have that proximity that we've long talked about.
Okay, and before we talk about Brexit, can I ask you, Mark, maybe you'll tell me this, is who specifically have you designed this product for? Who's taken advantage of it?
Well, it's amazing. We did do a soft launch, and we had a client event here in our Dublin offices, and already people who weren't even clients have actually signed up, and we have some sizable orders, six-figure sums from clients, and they tend to be more sophisticated investors, more aware of the risks that are in the world, and just concerned about the whole host of different risks that are in the world. It's interesting. A chap today, he was actually a qualified financial advisor in Ireland, very very, very, sophisticated investor, knows his investments, works at a senior level in a credit union in Ireland, and he basically said he's concerned about the amount of money printing and currency printing going on in the world and the ramifications of it. And he basically said, I think we've forgotten the lesson of history, So it's people like that. It's generally people who are more risk averse and are increasingly worried about these growing risks in the world.
And
Yeah,
you mentioned Brexit there, Mark, or maybe Steve. You tell me, how's Brexit influencing the gold investor?
well, yeah, it's a substantial issue that's on not the horizon, but the near horizon. It's something that's looming down on all of the various interested groups in this part of the world. In Ireland, we are very much reliant on the UK economy for an awful lot of our exports and also a lot of our imports and our services that help run our economy, and even the skill sets that we have here in terms of our employment market. A lot of people come from the UK and work here, and vice versa. So we're very much a part of the UK economically, and they are with us. And so people are looking at this, and they're looking at the complete dislocation with the various parties at the negotiations table, and the impossible position that the British government have really created for themselves by making promises to all parties that they can't possibly keep. So something has to give, and there's an awful lot of pressure. People are looking at this and they're saying, well, how is this going to manifest? And there is no actual plan. There's nothing that we can look back in history and say, this is what a major economy leaving one of the largest economic unions in the world looks like. There's no plan. There's no blueprint. And so people are kind of looking and hoping it'll all work out on the night. But now that we're getting closer and the dialogue is even more negative, I think now people are taking action and they're saying, you know what, I need to look at this in the worst possible case. And what does it mean for my savings, the banks in Ireland, which are proxies for our economy, and also the banks in the UK, which are proxies for their economy. So if our respective economies suffer greatly due to the incompetence of this entire process, then they might find that their savings are under risk, and legislation such as bail-ins might actually be enacted and used by governments to protect their national banks. So it's I think people are looking at this and saying, you know what, I need to have something that's safe, that's not printable, and is segregated and allocated, and it's off the financial system. It's out of the financial system and available for delivery, and that's why they look at precious metals. And now having it here in Ireland is quite timely for those people in the UK and also those people in Ireland. So it's a very, very important way of mitigating or reducing some of that risk that could come from Brexit in the very worst case. And we're not calling for that to happen necessarily. We do hope as well that things will work out well, but we do think that you can look at this and say how quickly our fortunes can change. The unknown unknowns do happen in other parts of the world, and they happen here too.
Excellent points. I couldn't agree more with Stephen. And these are real risks. We've talked about them for a while. And I think it's not just Brexit. I mean, there's so many variables of Brexit and so many unknown unknowns. So we just don't know how it's going to play out. But it just makes sense, again, for people to be diversified, own a range of different assets, own gold and silver, they're safe haven assets, hedging instruments, and own gold in different locations. And it's not just Brexit. Obviously, there's Trump, there's trade wars, there's currency wars. And just today, we looked at Steve Eisman, I don't know, the famous hedge fund manager. He shorted the subprime market in 2007, right before the housing crisis, and he is now going short UK banks. So he sees that these UK banks are very vulnerable, and he's specifically citing Brexit as being potentially impacting the UK banks, So this guy is highly respected, and there's a lot of people who are concerned about the UK banks, and that speaks to what Steve's talking about in terms of bail-ins. And the UK is a huge debtor nation as well. So it sort of makes sense. Ireland is very, very close to UK, and we're commercial partners and trading partners. And, it's a short skip and jump across the Irish Sea, 1 hour plane flight, and you can come across in the boat. So I think that's the attraction of UK investors, and we already have UK investors who are storing gold with us in Dublin, and some sizable, significant lump sums have come in already. And again, they're specifically citing these risks and the potential financial repression that is coming down the line. Jeremy Corbyn is the other big risk that we're barely talking about him because we're so focused on Brexit. Corbyn is very left left-leaning, and that poses real risk to UK investors as well.
If I could add in there, I mean, like, this is like New York leaving the United States, and we're New Jersey. We're next door, their neighbor. We're smaller. We rely upon them for everything, and there's an awful lot of co-economic activity, and it's like Germany leaving Austria. You know, I mean, like, this is huge. This is the biggest post-World War II event economically, politically, in this part of the world, and as I said, there's no map, there's no plan, so it's very, and also the quality of the leaders that we're seeing on both sides, within Europe, in the UK camp and the Irish camp. You know, they leave an awful lot to be desired. They don't seem to be. We don't seem to be served by a very, very high caliber of politician at this particular juncture too. So it's really the worst possible time, with probably not the best people in command. And so, yeah, so I think if you're a company, if you're a treasurer at a large Irish company or a UK company, and you have bank accounts across various different institutions, yeah, you need to be asking, you know, what am I going to do in a messy post-Brexit? What's my plan? And it's not a case of just wait and watch. You have to take action, and you should have that hedge, that insurance, that 5 or 10% of your treasury strategy in gold, physical gold and silver, in a safe jurisdiction. If you have a pension, you need to think the same way. If you're a private individual, you need to think the same way.
And with all that in mind, Mark, what are the key benefits of storing gold in Dublin?
Well, there's a few, and it is secure storage. It's a new location for us, and our secure storage is already, as Stephen said, one of the safest ways to own gold in the world, in terms of people have individual, outright legal ownership of individual coins and bars. That's both allocated and segregated, so it's not commingled in any way. It's separate from all the other investors, and we think that's very, very important indeed.
It's also. I think it's important to say that, you know, what we've done here is we have taken our template for storage, which is, Mark just described, segregated, allocated, and we have basically launched Dublin on that basis. So this is international standard, high bullion standard. So Dublin is essentially now part of the international bullion marketplace. And that's the first time this has actually ever happened, and what that means is that the client's bullion is stored very safely, as we've just described, but also using a concept in British law called bailment. And you should search that right now on Google. Type in the term bailment, and what it essentially means is that it's your asset at all times. We are merely custodying it at a safe jurisdiction. It does not sit on our balance sheet. It does not sit on the balance sheet of the vaulting provider. It sits on your balance sheet, and it's directable by you, the client. So you decide where it goes. You decide if you want to sell it or buy more or whatever you want to do. And if you choose to sell it to us and we give you a price and you don't like it, that's fine. You go elsewhere. You can say, you know what, I'm going to give it to another dealer down the road. Please ship it out. And it's moved very, very quickly and efficiently. It's unlike an awful lot of other gold bullion providers that are out there, digital gold providers, and their default product tends to be a bar, which they have safely stored, but you own part of it all the way through. So you're a part owner of that bar, and it means that you're limited in terms of what you can do and how you can direct that asset. With GoldCore Secure Storage in Dublin, you don't have any of those limitations. It's on your doorstep. It's ready to be accessed and directed, and you can choose to place the business or the bar with whoever you want to if you ever want to sell it.
Steve, just the last question for you, which is, how do people take advantage of this? How do they actually access your Dublin Secure Storage?
Very, very, in a very straightforward way. But essentially, if you're an existing client, you can contact our office, or you can access the portal and log in and place your order. And when you go to check out, one of the drop-down options is Dublin. So you would have had London, Zurich, Hong Kong, and Singapore before. Now you'll also have Dublin in there. It's for certain items. Most items are actually available for Dublin storage. And if you're not a GoldCore client, you can open up an account online. It takes about 3 minutes. Just have your IDs ready there to upload as part of the process. And we also provide a consultancy service to our clients internationally, where we will meet with them. We will try to understand exactly what their motivations are for precious metals and what they're trying to what outcome they're trying to get to, and we will put them through a strategy trade process, and from that we'll direct them as to what type of precious metals to have and where to store them, and what meets their requirements in the best possible way. So So it's the first step really is to make contact with us or open up your account online at goldcore.com.
And they'll be able to get more information on this page here, or else we'll put a link in the description underneath this video to where they can actually get more information rather, and contact you. Okay, gentlemen, thanks a million. I really wish you the best of luck with your new storage offering. And I encourage anybody that has an interest or an inkling to reach out to you guys and to talk to you some more and find out more information about this. As I said, there'll be a link in the description beneath this video, or more information on this page, depending upon where you're watching this video. And it just remains for me to remind everybody to subscribe to both the YouTube channel and subscribe to us on Facebook, like our page, follow us on Twitter. And you can stay up to date with all precious metals related news by signing up for the market update at goldcore.com. So thank you very much, Steve. Thank you very much, Mark. I wish you both the best of luck with this, and we'll see you again soon.
Thanks, David.
Thank you, everybody.